Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the HamCorp training manual. In this episode, we will expand the platform greatly with a very familiar block. We will also set up create crushing wheels and more stone barrels to fully automate the production of gravel, sand, and dust. Finally, we craft our first primitive ore factory and primitive blast furnace to produce our first steel. What you just saw me do was sifting dirt to get a bunch of saplings, and then sifting the rooted dirt that I get out of that to get a bunch of different crops. I've decided I don't want to rush progression. I did that in FTB interactions and I kind of regret it because I didn't really spend that much time building a pretty base, which sucks. So here, I'm just gonna vibe. I'm not gonna focus on progression necessarily. I will still, of course, be progressing just naturally, but I'm gonna spend some time in this low-tech age and just try to enjoy it. If that means building a floating wooden structure, that's fine. And then I can put it in like a little museum biodome or something for when I build my actual giga base. Well, I don't know how big of a base I really need to beat the pack, but still, something like that is my plan. Now, there are quite a few multis here that I would like to build. The kiln, the large barrel, the large stone barrel, the large farm, all the create stuff, and this needs a lot more space. And I would like to section off the space, so I'm trying to get this grass to go this way because I plan to build like a tree farm area over here. I don't need grass for that though. But dirt is ugly, so you know how it is. And I think in that space is probably a sensible place to put my farm as well. And then maybe this way or something, I can build my cobble works. So everything that goes from making cobble, so a wooden or the large barrel, the large stone barrel, etc. All of that's gonna go in its own dedicated factory floor, sort of. And I'm gonna make cobblestone, I'm gonna make gravel, I'm gonna make sand, I'm gonna make dust. And I think that will connect to the next area that has actual sifting. I don't have this automated yet, and I believe I need circuits to automate this, so it's not too far away. But I think having an endpoint being all the different inputs for the sieves makes a bit of sense to me. And then the next zone would be the sifting area. As for create processing, this is kind of auto crafting in a sense, so that should be its own separate area. And all of that's going to go over there, I guess. I don't know how this is going to work, to be honest, because this is a very different way of thinking for me compared to, running a cable line with GregTech. Anyway, all that to say, I'm just going to take it slow. I'm just going to enjoy my time here. And I'm going to start with the wood and crops area. Yo, wait a minute. I can make corp. This is just gravel and X-tone tiles. Ooh, I could have the floor I want to use for the entire base already. Okay, I might be missing walls, but at least I can do the floor. Okay, I'm gonna get a bunch of corp. I'm excited for this. Welcome to the new base. Well, it's just the old base, but I've redone quite a bit. I've reconstructed the central area as a decorational piece, so this is going to just be like this forever. It's going to be the center. I made 4 quadrants. I don't know why. I don't intend to use this space very long. It's also kind of just decoration. But it was kind of just an excuse for me to use the diorite and the granite, so I did that. It looks a little repetitive, I might need to break up the pattern a bit, but it's fine for now. A lot of animals have started spawning because there's enough space now and also grass. So I got some llamas, some sheep, I saw some chickens earlier. Anyway, over here in the western wing, this is where I grow my trees and chop them down. And I have 2 stripped log patches over here, and I'm gonna place machines here. Specifically, I plan to place the large farms and quad share them, but I don't know if I really need 8 farms. Probably not. I probably need the sugarcane one and maybe, I don't know, potatoes, carrots, something like that, but I'll just build them as I need them. The space is here. Over here to the north, this is where my coke oven is. I'm probably going to make a quad coke oven. That seems like a good idea. I have another extra patch here for whatever. Here I have my stone barrel. I looked into the large stone barrel and apparently it can't actually do all the same recipes. It's kind of like a different machine. It's not the same recipe map as a stone barrel. So I just set up this stone barrel properly with the 2 fluid pipes because the water being pumped out by one wasn't fast enough. I had to add a second one and now it is fast enough. And I made an oak drawer and it's full of cobblestone. This is going to be my cobblestone source for other things coming up. I also have another wooden barrel here. This is kind of a temporary thing. This kind of connects to the eastern side. This is the create area. I've moved my water wheels here, so they're spinning. I have my whatever this is. And I have this monstrosity. I know gearboxes exist, so I should probably make and use one to change the axis of rotation, but I thought this would be funny to show, so I did this. This right here is a mixer, so I can do mixing recipes in the basin. I also had to make a burner so I can do heated mixing recipes, but I haven't set that up. And yeah, the press. I've gathered up all the items I need to make 21 mechanical crafters, because I need those to make crushing wheels. And I'm gonna make a couple of these. I think I'm gonna make 6 sets of crushing wheels, so 12 wheels in total. So that I can grind cobblestone into gravel, that's 1 set. Then again into sand as a separate parallel branch, so that's 2 sets. And then into dust as a 3rd branch, so that's 3 sets. That's the plan. As for if my water wheels can keep up with that amount of stress, I have no idea. I also don't know how the mechanical crafters work, so let me craft these up and then I'll try to set them up. Yo, I just discovered something cool about EMI and the crafting tree stuff. So, for example, I got the crushing wheels here, right? So I have this tree. If I click this button to change from viewing recipe tree to crafting recipe tree, all the steps show up in my favorites bar. That's good. That's so good. This is something I was missing from GTNH, and I've been spoiled by GTNH, honestly, but I'm so glad this exists. It's not as straightforward, but it exists, and I'm happy. Now, from the little bit I do know about the mechanical crafter, I think all of the inputs have to be kind of on the same path. Like if you travel along these belts, everything should be accumulated, aggregated, or whatever, and end up at the same spot. This looks good, I think. I think this will work. Now, I don't know how to auto-place items into this. I guess I'll just do it manually for now, and then I'll figure it out later. As for how to actually operate it, I see that there are cogs on the side, so I probably just need to connect these up. Shouldn't be too bad. Well, it's overstressed. But I think I should be able to fix this by slowing down the rotation a little bit. I wonder if I can just slow it down for this one component and it still works. Cool, it does. This is this is such a mess, but I kind of love it. Real slow, but real cool. I like how it naturally just kind of becomes the shape of the crafting recipe. It's pretty cool. Here is a giant mess of cogs that I love very much. This was kind of cool to think about how to make this rotate in opposite directions. And this is what I have for inverting the rotation direction by putting a cog in the middle. I'm sure there's a gearbox for this. I'll make that eventually. But I think that right now, the bigger the mess, the more entertaining it is for me. So this is kind of fun. Anyway, on the right here, I have cobblestone getting crushed into gravel, into sand, into dust, cobblestone into gravel, into sand, and cobblestone into gravel. This took me a little bit to figure out, but the smart chutes, in order to set an amount, you need to have an inventory above them. So I've made some drawers here, which I'm going to place above each of these. And then with the cobblestone in hand, if I right-click this filter spot and hold, I can set the extracted amount. And I'm going to set it to exactly a stack, so that I'm always doing a stack at a time. Now we need to bring the cobblestone over here, and for that I'm going to use item pipes from pipes. Because of the distance, it's slightly expensive, but it's fine. It's going to be worth it. This means I've automated resource production. Kind of, except for the sifting part, which I'll do by hand for now. Any employees who are caught slacking will be shoved into this little gap here, and then we'll see what happens. All done. I am not generating cobblestone fast enough for 100% uptime, but honestly that's fine. I don't mind. One thing I have noticed is that the pipes do not round robin. They go in order from the closest destination to the furthest, so I am not going to generate a single sand until this drawer is full of gravel. I guess that's fine. It just means leave the server running, which I'm okay with. Now this pack also has Create Vintage, which is an add-on I haven't even heard of before, to be honest, so there's quite a lot of new stuff, and I think I'm going to try and make as much of it as I can. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to make these GregTech multis, like the large farm and the barrels that I talked about before, along with the kiln, which is basically a multi for the campfire. And I'm going to work on getting some fire bricks, so I can start getting some steel. Fire clay dust is just bricks and clay, so it shouldn't be too bad. This also probably means I need to automate my dust into clay situation, which means I need to wait for all of this grinding to get done. It'll happen. Worst case, I can scale this up. In fact, I probably should, because I'm out of cobblestone. Ooh, quick little correction here. When you grind up gravel, you can also get flint and clay balls, and that's what's happening here. So this is kind of clogged. I've made a 2x2 oak drawer instead. This should unclog it. Luckily, this is the only step that has byproducts. Unluckily, that step happens here too, so I need to figure something out over here. Okay, I solved it by adding an intermediate buffer. It's probably eventually going to fill up with clay balls and flint, but I guess I'll deal with that when I deal with that. This works. It's a bit less pretty, but it still works. You know I'm going to be building every single multi in this game by hand at least once. Large barrel. Large farm. And that's the kiln. This barrel is a huge help in making clay. Very, very useful. A lot of that clay is getting turned into bricks, which is getting turned into brick dust. Did you know you can press K or Shift K to convert everything in a 2x2 crafting grid into its product? You know, like bricks, for example. If you hover over some bricks and you press Shift K, it converts all of them into this product, which is pretty useful, and I wish I knew that for the pebbles. And with all of this clay and brick dust, I'm going to make fire clay dust, which I'm going to cook. And this completes the primitive blast furnace, also known as the bricked blast furnace, and the primitive ore factory. The PBF is used for making steel, either ingots at a time or blocks at a time. And it doesn't seem to me that there is any benefit in doing it blocks at a time. It seems like just everything is just multiplied by 9. I mean, I guess I can leave it AFK for longer, which is kind of the only benefit, which is nice. But the more interesting thing right now is the primitive ore factory. This is an all-in-one ore processing machine. Now, I haven't done an analysis to see if this is better than doing individual machines in a row, but this is definitely winning out in convenience. I just need to feed it water, crushed ore, and blocks of coal, or individual coal. Blocks of coal are more efficient in this case, so I will be using blocks. I process an extra crushed ore when doing it with blocks, so yeah. Also, I don't need extra water. But this gets me the main products, also byproducts like gallium and sulfur in the case of sphalerite. Gallium being here is pretty nice. But like I said, one thing I haven't done is I haven't checked to see if it's better than doing it kind of the standard way. And speaking of the standard way, I don't even know how much of this is possible right now, because I only have create machines. Regardless, I think, because resources are infinite and very easy to get now, I will just be using the primitive ore factory anyway to save time. Which kind of sucks, because it means I don't need create vintage. I mean, I guess I could use a little bit. There's like, I don't know. Is there anything? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll make some of these, maybe I won't. They are cool though. The PBF and the POF have unlocked some stuff now, like nickel, gold, steel, Invar, also red alloy, but I think I had this before already. So I am going to start gathering up some of this stuff. Dude, look at this steel recipe using raw iron. It's so fast, 40 seconds per steel. Star Technology players be like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Just noticed I'm out of charcoal and I'm not generating charcoal because I'm full of creosote. And I don't really have storage, so I think I'm gonna make a fluid cell or a couple. These need fluid tanks and fluid cell frames. These are pretty cheap. Barrel, copper, tin, bronze, glass, pretty easy. I just remembered I never made the coke oven hatch. I wonder if unforming the structure is going to void everything. Or if it's just stored in the controller. I think it's just stored in the controller. It's kind of nice. Oh, cool. It's just like it's a proxy. That's cool. Alright, let's make this thing now. Bam. Fluid cell. Is this thing modular? I feel like it is. I feel like it connects to itself and it gets bigger. What I don't know is what these buttons do. Oh, it's auto input and output. Okay. And let's pull all this creosote out. Cool. Okay, that's a bit of a buffer. I probably need more fluid cells, but this is a start. Does it void everything if I break it? Nope. Nice. Perfect. No, I can't share coke ovens. Damn it. Well, I have 4 now. I guess I have to spread them out. I should make a backpack. That's probably a good idea. I can get leather now. There's plenty of cows for me to kill. Weirdly though, I do need specifically white dye. And bone meal is not white dye. But I can convert it pretty easily by crushing it in the wheels, but my wheels are kind of occupied, so I'm gonna use this as an excuse to make a millstone. Is this goofy as hell? Maybe. Does that make me like it more? Yes. And there's backpack. Now I can auto pick up certain things, which is pretty nice. I don't think I'm going to though. And there is a bobble slot specifically for the backpack. I can actually upgrade this basically immediately. I just need some gold. And upgrading further needs diamonds, which I could do. But upgrading even more needs nether stars. Or just 1 nether star, so I can't do that. Uncommon backpack. And a rare backpack. Ooh, that's a lot of space. That's a lot more than I expected. That is pretty nice. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to be doing a little bit of just random side stuff that's not very important. And I am trying to stall. Because there is a major update coming out relatively soon. And I don't want to do a bunch of progression and then have to instantly redo it because it's been changed. So I'm going to just take as long as I need to progress. I'm not going to rush anything. I'm going to explore like weird side things because why not? But I have been told that I'm good to get to around HV or so, and only then will I start seeing major changes. So we can keep this going a little bit. I think I'm going to start with the solid blast furnace. This is like the primitive blast furnace, but it can be automated, and it's faster. I need a little bit of steel to make this, but I have some. I'm also probably going to need ULV input and output buses, so I've made some red alloy. They're needed for the ULV machine casings. And I wanted to do this today, but I don't think I will. I think I'll do this next time, but I wanted to do latex extraction and rubber processing, because, like I said, I'm stalling. So I kind of want to just explore everything, because why not? Ooh, wait a minute. I also need steel firebox casings, and I need 9 of them. That's more steel than I have. Oh, and it's actually going to take a little bit with just 1 PBF to get the rest. So I guess I'll let that happen in between episodes, and we can get around to that next time. Thank you for watching this episode of the HamCorp Training Manual. In the next episode, we will continue along with a bit of GregTech and a bit of Create. Specifically, we will be looking at rubber production, solar boilers for some early steam, and the Create diesel engine. If this is all successfully completed, we will also craft the first electronic circuit. HamCorp would like to assure its viewers that this time, the HamCorp corporate tower will be built as soon as possible. Basically as soon as we can obtain some coal. No lawn basing, or else. See you next time.